What's going on, everyone? My name is Nicholas Merton here at DataDash, and today is June 25th of 2021. Well, folks, I hope you all are having a fantastic day wherever you are. And in today's video, I not only want to spend some time to dive into the current short-term state of the market, to do some price analysis, but also talk about how simple measurements of market sentiment, of fear and greed, can be so helpful in understanding where we are in the sense of Bitcoin being a buy or sell opportunity. So we're going to be diving into this some more, as well as diving into a sponsored review of the Energy Swap protocol, a new and emerging decentralized exchange built right on the Energy blockchain. So stay tuned, you guys won't want to miss it. So let's go ahead and dive straight into it, guys. I want to take a look real quick here at some short-term analysis in the market. You guys know I'm more candid to look at the long-term time frames. However, overall, since we had this fake out here where the sell-off lasted for a mere couple hours and rebounded almost in a mirrored fashion back up here towards the $35,000 range, over the last 24 hours we're down around 3.3% here. And what's really interesting is that though a lot of people are getting really worried in this case that we might possibly start to roll over again, you know, this is a possibility, but I think honestly what's much more realistic is that Bitcoin is ranging right now similar to what it did back here in late January going into February before the official confirmation of the Tesla news when they bought their purchase of Bitcoin. And what I think is really happening here, if we go ahead and take a look at price, I'll actually have to keep it here over here to the left hand side so you guys can see it. Overall, you can see that we rolled over here for Bitcoin, had about similar to today, about a 3.4% correction. You can see it in the top hand corner of the screen from the open, high, low, and close, or the OHLC values. You can see here that we had a spike on the wicks here. This was off of rumors that that Tesla was buying Bitcoin. And you can see that really though, at the close of the day, we were on the same range. We topped out here and we came down here to make this range support before continuing higher here for the secondary wave of the cycle. It seems like price is going to probably go for this again, so we'll probably roll over, test this general support range here, and then also test that historic significant range here. Same exact price range here, around $32,000, a little bit above, and then from there start to move higher and continue setting in those higher lows and higher highs until we escape the upper band here around $42,000. Now, the same goes here for Ethereum. You know, overall, guys, like as I'm looking at this price range here and thinking about the fact that, in my opinion, this is, again, it's just my opinion at the end of the day, but overall from the data here that I've been analyzing on the long-term charts, especially on the logarithmic one, and the midline point here that usually plays as resistance and support, support and resistance here again, we can see here that Ethereum's just kind of waning around this line here, right? We're on the lower end of this line here. We're at a discount, right? So overall, again, on the macro time frames, on those shorter term time frames, there's not too much to get fearful of. And on that topic of fear, I want to go ahead and talk about probably one of the most simple indicators you could use out there that show you time periods where it's generally good to buy and go long, and periods of time where it's good to probably run for the hills or at least be a little bit more cautious or on edge. And that is the Crypto Fear and Greed Index. Now, if you guys have seen this before, it's probably been either the Crypto Fear or Greed Index or maybe the Fear and Greed Index of traditional markets such as equities. I think that there was like CNN and a couple other media sources in this case that would have this Fear or Greed Index that's now widespread. But the really cool thing about it is that this sentiment analysis uses a variety of metrics. You can find the details of down here at the bottom, things like volatility, market momentum and volume, social media traffic, surveys, dominance, and trends to actually get a broad reading as to where we are within the market at the moment. Not using one single point, using an aggregate of data sources. And this is similar to the SMS indicator that we created for anyone to use on TradingView that aggregates a variety of our favorite indicators, the stochastic RSI, the MACD, right? That starts to combine a lot of data points so we can get a general feeling of where we are and where the sentiment of the market is. So the general principle is this: when people are generally fearful, we get greedy, and when the general market is greedy, we get fearful. Basically, when the market's raging in this case and everyone's taking heightened risk, heightened exposure to crypto, and doesn't really care about the prices they're paying, that's the euphoria that we want to sell into. At least that's what smart money's doing if they are trading on any short-term time frame intervals. And vice versa. When everyone's panicking, when everyone's capitulating, when everyone's getting liquidated, that's when we take additional risk. That's when we buy in, and that's when we gain and garner exposure. Plain and simple, right? We've talked about this a lot on the channel, but it's so amazing how people will forget this, how people will ignore some of the simple metrics out there that can be so helpful. Let's go ahead and talk about the times to buy. Well, the previous two times where the indicator really came down towards a really low digit, double-digit point structure, usually around 10 to 12 points down here, was here in May, where we're at right now, right? But are there any other time periods where we've seen this before? Well, we did see this. We saw this back here in March of 2020 during the COVID sell-off, right? When Bitcoin was around $3,100 to $5,000 on the dip. Well, this was a great time to buy. In fact, it was the best time to buy back here in March, when everyone thought the crypto markets collapsed. And I can tell you guys, I was in New York at the time, New York City, during the initial waves of the pandemic setting in. And I got to tell you, the fear was real. It was very real in the sense of crypto markets and traditional finance. It was Black Thursday, one of the worst sell-off days in history for pretty much all assets. Peak fear tends to be a great time to buy up assets. Let's take a look at some other time frames. How about back here? December of 2018, right? A multi-week period here, almost an entire month, where it stayed below here at low double-digit range. That was the bottom of the bear market. The bottom of 2018. A full year of bloodshed, finally providing the best buying opportunity right before Bitcoin went on to rage towards $14,000. And then after even the sell-off back here in March with COVID, leading on to Bitcoin spiking up and dragging the fear and greed index to its highest point, the most greedy point possible up here in the 95-point range, where Bitcoin went all the way to $65,000 per coin, all within less than a year. So the key point here that I want to drive is, and I'm sorry guys, I just thought now my webcam might have gotten in the way. I'm sorry. I'll go ahead and take a step back here and just let you guys see what I was talking about here. When we take a look at these indicators in this case, bear in mind, they're not manipulating this fear and greed index. This is the metrics that have been around for a long period of time. These are the exact same points you would have saw back here in March when there was the sell-off back during the beginning of the pandemic. And these are the same values you can find here today on this indicator. It's on an actual, you just look up simply crypto fear and greed index, you'll find it on Google. And the great thing about it is that what it showcases here is these multi-week or month or more time frames where we can see that the market is at a discount or overextended. If you just simply generally followed the principle of waiting for a multi-week low in the crypto fear and greed index, or the overextended highs in the 90 to 100 point band as a point to sell, you would do quite well, right? Now bear in mind here, sometimes it's not always a good point to just simply sell at the point when the indicator in this case is overextended. Just like how it's not always just a great idea right to buy at the lows, right? Because sometimes you can have a slight drag in the sense of the variance if you're trying to get a better discount in this case. Or for example, we had a peak here in November of 2020. Bitcoin at that time was just coming up back towards around 16 to 18,000, and then eventually in December testing the all-time highs. Greed can sometimes be a little bit more overextended, especially as you enter into bull markets, but it's a bit more easy to read. My point here though is to focus on the bearish end here. The simple point is this, guys: if whether you think this is a bear market in this case or a full swing, mid-cycle correction, the really interesting thing is that fear and greed index doesn't read down here for very long. And if we're moving up here, like we did here in May or August or coming into the fall, all three of these points, periods of time where Bitcoin and crypto markets are picking up. So it's not really a debate of, oh, this is a short-term correction or this is a bear market. Because to be honest, we're generally at the fear range here. We can see here overall that back here in 2018, analyzing a real bear market here, right? From the metrics that we actually have here, the max data for the fear and greed index, we have a lot of upward spikes and downward trends, upward spikes and downward trends. We're ranging down here. We're accumulating in this case, or at least smart money is. And this is something I want to talk about here in the sense of the leveraged markets in this case, with what we have to work with data. What's really fascinating here over the last 24 hours for Bitcoin, and we also can take a look at Ethereum as well, we have about a 50-50 split here, generally speaking, for longs and shorts. And I got to tell you guys, generally speaking, the shorts are around 50% or close to it. I'm looking forward to some short squeezes. It's not typical that data is always going to be 50-50 in this case. It tends to be that there's a long bias in this case, because most people, as anyone can generally see here, can long the crypto market, right? So derivatives traders in this case do have a bias in this case, and they should. They should have a long bias in this case, because overall, there's only the majority of people in the United States, for example, can only really go out, same as in a variety of other countries, can only go out and long in this case. Right? Now you can, of course, sell the underlying position, but the entry of new liquidity is going to generally have a long bias in this case, as it's an emerging market, right? Anyways, long story short here, as we see short interest or general shorting increasing in the market, this is going to cause a way down in the sense of the market in the short term, but it provides the ability for a spring in price as buyers come in, push up the order book, and liquidate these shorts, right? So again, this is a very important piece of metrics to keep in mind here. And again, going back to this chart here, right, it's going to be a slow, steady process, but one that will start to build up a momentum. And you get, for example, like even something that's half the size of this candle, you get the rest of it here off the news because of the short squeeze, the liquidations. And that's what's been driving these more dynamic, higher moves high, these exaggerated moves higher, and also the exaggerated moves downward. And the last thing I want to talk about here, candidly, before we dive into our sponsored review of energy, is talking about altcoin dominance. The data finally got fixed here. There was a big anomaly here for the altcoin dominance chart and Bitcoin dominance here, whether you're looking at CoinMarketCap or if you're looking at TradingView. What we can see here is that we've still generally held in a slightly higher level here so far. We haven't compromised the lower low here, right? Or set at a lower low. So we're going to be watching if this continues to roll over with Bitcoin's rebound, or if we start to spring up higher for altcoin dominance and range on the upper range that we've been holding for a little while, since back here, I think since early May. So again, this is again another chart that we're watching. But again, for now, nothing to be fearful of, guys. We're going to continue watching Bitcoin here. We've had this nice spring. We were just at $28,600, I think, the other day at the absolute low. It was the actual price point here on Bitstamp. And now we're sitting here at around $33,400. Nice rebound, if you ask me. Not a bad rebound at all. So anyways, guys, let's go ahead and we'll dive into this really exciting review of Energy Swap. Alrighty, everyone, so in today's sponsored review, we're going to be diving into a new exciting decentralized exchange protocol known as Energy Swap, which is natively built on the community-driven and highly scalable blockchain Energy, which we've talked about many times here on the channel, as I'm a big fan of the project's vision. And I want to spend some time to talk about why Energy Swap is so big, because as a big fan of DeFi myself, or decentralized finance, we've been seeing a variety of applications finally being built on major protocols like Ethereum, such as decentralized exchanges as well as lending platforms. But the biggest issue at the end of it all, as much as these protocols have built really solid use cases, the biggest problem is that it doesn't service for everyday users. When it comes to elements such as security for end users, whether you're having to deal with potential rug pulls or hacks, and outside of that as well, the high network fees that can cost anywhere from $5 to $40 per swap, you have so many issues you have to worry about. But the great thing here about Energy Swap is that they work to correct so many of those different issues that you can run into in the DeFi space. They not only provide the widest range of accessibility in the sense of the coins that they support on the actual Energy Swap protocol, but outside of this as well, swaps that cost anywhere from 1 penny to a couple cents versus $5 to $40, and they have the energy defense team that provides high levels of security. Now, this is kind of a high level overview, but in today's video, I actually want to spend some time to go through, dive into the details, look at the analytics, and actually showcase how you can start participating on the Energy Swap protocol here today. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about how Energy is actually truly building the true experience for decentralized exchanges for everyday people. So first, I want to start here by just taking a look at the info page or the analytics page for Energy Swap. This is probably familiar to some of you who may know about the Uniswap protocol. The interface is built to be as familiar as possible in this case. You can see here very clearly that the liquidity here is migrating over time in the sense of the growth or decline in value of the liquidity on the market. And outside of that as well, we not only have this nice organic growth and general decline here in the short term on liquidity, so we can see that people are organically adding assets over time. But outside of that as well, we can see that there's nice organic volume here, genuine growth over time on the Energy Swap protocol. We had a nice big spike here in volume here and are generally averaging anywhere from around $1 to $2 million in volume every week. This is really phenomenal growth for an emerging layer 1 protocol. And I think one of the biggest reasons is not only the discounted network fees in this case due to Energy's high throughput and scalability, but outside of this as well, one of the things that they nail really right and has me really excited overall is the sheer amount of tokens that they support. And I want to go ahead and just showcase the wide range of assets they have here, because they don't just have tokenized Ethereum assets. That's one thing that they offer. They also offer not only Ethereum and Ethereum-based assets, they offer the whole shebang. They offer a variety of tokenized layer 1 tokens in this case, such as Dogecoin. You can see as well Bitcoin is here, XRP, a variety of layer 1 cryptocurrencies or coins that you would usually only be able to trade on a centralized exchange. And I think this is one of the major hidden benefits of the Energy Swap protocol. I know everyone's going to focus on the fees and everyone's always wondering about scalability, but to be completely frank, guys, not only is that a great feature, but the ability to trade such a wide range of assets like you would on a traditional layer 1 is a major leg up from what you get on the actual Uniswap protocol. So I have to give Tommy and the team a big set of bonus points here in the sense on the ability to trade such a wide range of cryptocurrencies. And you can see the actual volume metrics, price change, etc. So you get all the major metrics here that you would need here to actually go about trading. Now I want to go ahead here and actually dive into setting up your Energy wallet. And the great thing is that you can not only set up an Energy wallet similar to how you would with a traditional Ethereum wallet through a MetaMask extension, but as we're going to go through the desktop setup here today, you can also do this on mobile as well through the MetaMask mobile wallet. However, I want to go ahead and we'll dive into the major piece of information you're going to need here. You're not only going to need to set up a MetaMask wallet in this case, which you can download through the Chrome web store. So just simply Google MetaMask and you'll be able to get it set up in that case. Set up a traditional seed phrase wallet. Make sure you store it in a secure place, writing down all 12 words. And after you've done that, once you've got your MetaMask wallet set up here, you're going to want to go about adding in the Energy network into the MetaMask wallet, because natively the Energy network is separate from Ethereum, and the MetaMask wallet's not going to know immediately to listen out for that network. So what's really great here is that we can add custom networks. So what we can do here is go to our settings tab here. We can go here to the I think it's the network section. There we go. And what we've already got here is the Energy mainnet, but I want to go ahead and showcase what it's like to actually add Energy to your MetaMask wallet. You click on Add Network, and there's a couple fields here we need to fill in. And luckily, Energy's laid everything out properly here for us. So we're going to want to add an Energy mainnet here to the network name so we know when we're connecting to the Energy network. This is merely a label here to make sure that we're on the right network. You're going to add this RPC URL, which is going to help us in this case to make sure that we properly connect to the proper network and actually can, in this case as well, through the other bits of information from the chain ID to the symbol in this case. So for our native currency, we know that the native symbol is NRG, but also make sure that we have a blockchain explorer so that we can actually go and validate transactions, right? So we can see that once we processed a swap, we can go see the on-chain confirmation for it and see the track record of transactions from within our MetaMask wallet. So these are the major details you'd want to plug in into their respective fields. And once that's done, you just simply click Save here. But the good news is I've already got this plugged in here, right here in my list of networks alongside my Ethereum mainnet and test networks here. So I've got this plugged in. Let's go ahead and actually dive in to going in and making a swap on Energy. Now, when you come to the Energy Swap website and you want to make sure that you go through the proper URL, I'll leave it down below in the description so you guys can make sure to start off at the right spot. It's app.energyswap.exchange. And once you're on this website for the first time, you're going to be alerted that in this case, it's very important to note that the assets you're trading in this case, especially any kind of layer 1 coins or tokenized assets, anything on Energy Swap, is living on the Energy blockchain. You cannot send any of these tokens that you're trading to a separate blockchain. It's very important to keep in mind. But after we go ahead and check that box, and we'll talk a little bit about the new tool that's coming up here, the Energy Bridge here very soon. Let's go ahead and we'll dive in to the conversation here for actually how to use the Energy Swap protocol. Well, first what we're going to have to do now that we've got our Energy blockchain here and we've got some energy on our Energy wallet through MetaMask, I'm going to go ahead and click Connect to a Wallet. Now we can see here the option here is for MetaMask. It's got a prompt here to connect to my Energy wallet. Just to make sure you guys can see this good, it's going to pick up my wallet here. I've got 300 NRG in there. I'm going to go ahead and click Next and make sure that, again, I'm on the right website. In this case, checking the URL, looking out for the SSL certificate in the top left, the little lock icon, and I'm going to go ahead and click Connect. And now I've connected to it. This is how Web3 works. It's a phenomenal tool here. So now I can go about trading the 300 energy balance that I have for another set of assets. Let's say, for example, I don't want to trade all 300 energy in this case. I want to hold some as energy as a reserve asset, but I want to go ahead and make a trade here of 100 energy against another asset on the market. And the really cool thing here is, I could go on maybe Uniswap and a few other protocols and pay a higher network fee and trade maybe some ERC20 tokens. I want to trade something that, in this case, would require me to use an exchange originally. And what better token to try out here than to test out Dogecoin, right? We're going to go ahead and do a quick trade on Doge, which, again, bear in mind, no matter how great or silly this idea might sound, the really incredible thing is that this is a layer 1 asset that lives entirely off the Energy blockchain. And now we have a tokenized version of it here on the Energy blockchain, similar to how you can tokenize assets in other protocols, but the range of assets here that you have here on Energy is truly phenomenal. So we can see here the actual swap we're going to get. I not only have my 100 energy where I'm going to get 664 tokenized Dogecoin on the Energy blockchain, but outside of this as well, I can see the slippage tolerance that's been set, the price rate that I'm getting, 0.15 NRG per Doge, and I can see here that the minimum amount I'm going to receive, the price impact, which is actually incredibly low for this decent sized trade, and the liquidity provider fee of 0.3 NRG, right? This is similar to the liquidity fee that you pay on a traditional set of AMMs, right? So generally speaking, overall, I'm paying possibly a little bit over 0.3%. That's including, in this case, slippage and fees, etc., and network fees as well, simply to do a swap, in this case, from 2 original layer 1 assets. In this case, it's truly phenomenal. If I go ahead and click swap, it's going to go ahead and make sure I can confirm here what I want to swap. I'm going to go ahead and hit that. We can see here the MetaMask notification popping up. That allows me to pick the gas level here for the Energy mainnet. The level should be perfectly fine as is. I'm going to go ahead, click confirm, and the transaction has been submitted. Now let's go ahead and take a look at that Energy Explorer to see where we're standing here and see just how quick these swaps can actually go through and process. Not to mention as well the saved amount of cost here. So we can see here that the transaction is pending confirmation on the Energy Network Explorer, and we can just see here it got cut off on the screen a little bit. I just got my confirmation here for the swap. So my MetaMask extensions picked it up. Sometimes the web page will be a little bit delayed here, but really just in a matter of a couple seconds, I was able, without any permission, to be able to trade from one asset to another through the Energy Swap protocol. We can see here that I've got the little confirmation here, and I don't have to trust anyone in this case. I can see right here in my MetaMask wallet that I've got it. And this is the cool thing, guys. You guys remember I had 300 energy before, right? And I used 100 energy to swap over into Dogecoin in this case. Well, the really great thing about this here is that I can go ahead, well, first off, we're gonna wanna add our token here so we can see our respected Dogecoin. But outside of this as well, the incredible thing about this is that you can do the math here. If we add 100 energy back into what I have right now in my wallet, I've really only exhausted a fraction of an energy token in this case. And the great thing about that is that it's because due to the low network fees, and in this sense as well, having low slippage on my trade, that I was able to actually get a fair market rate and trade for practically nothing from one asset to another. And that's a really, really great thing, that I have the convenience of MetaMask, which a lot of people are familiar with. And outside of that as well, I'm able to trade from a variety of assets out there on the energy blockchain. So again, the energy swap protocol offers a ton of benefits here for everyday people. But one of the things that a lot of people don't really take into mind is the basket of other features and benefits of the energy blockchain that you just don't really get on other layer 1 protocols, even layer 1 protocols like Ethereum and emerging protocol layer 1s like Binance Smart Chain. One of the big things is energy defense. Now, one thing that I really admire about Tommy and the team, as I've talked to them over the last couple years, is their focus on the user experience and also making sure that in that user experience, you not only provide a safe environment for users initially, but when there are issues with perhaps mismanaging wallets or outside of that as well, having potential hackers or people who have gained access to your funds. In this case, making sure to fight off against different types of hackers and criminal actors. And that is through the Energy Defense Program. Now, one of the things that I think on a philosophical basis that I love here about the Energy Defense Program and their overall effort to make sure to provide a safe environment for users is that, let's be honest guys, as much as DeFi is, yeah, sure, it's the next big thing, and DeFi is a phenomenally impactful sector on the world, and there are some great applications out there. To be completely candid, the overall decentralized finance space is in the wild, wild west days. It's in the early stages. It's software. We can't get beyond the idea that DeFi is, completely impenetrable. It's not, right? DeFi is something that is new. It's experimental. And one of the things that I think is really important is to make sure you can provide that level of comfort in this case for new users, especially trying a new layer 1 protocol like Energy, to have that security in that case. One of the great things is that the Energy Defense protocol in this case, or the overall energy defense system that's offered by the energy community, has saved over $1 million of funds for users. And for an emerging layer 1 protocol, that's pretty impressive. I can't name one time where a Binance Smart Chain rug pull or hack, in this case, ever gave back that much money or the equivalent of the overall network value back to its users. In fact, if you lose your money on Ethereum or Binance Smart Chain, it's, best of luck next time, right? And that's generally been the narrative on layer 1 protocols. And it's been really frustrating, especially when all these protocols are saying, even if they're notifying use at your own risk, or they're saying, this is a certified contract that's been audited, right? It's nice to have some kind of layer of protection in this case, or people who at least will work towards making your experience overall as secure and as successful as possible. Now, one thing that I want to emphasize here again about this vision of Energy Swap, as we hinted on a little bit earlier on about the vision that Tommy and the team have had at Energy for some time, they've been very big on this idea of building a decentralized exchange. And in fact, the success of Energy Swap has actually helped them postpone the work on EnergyX. Now, for those of you who don't know, EnergyX has been something that the team has envisioned for a long period of time. This has been their vision for a synthetics decentralized exchange protocol, a zero fee or near zero fee protocol that allows you to trade any asset in the world. Now, the really cool thing here that I want to share with you guys here today, that I'm getting an overall hunch for overall in regards to the Energy protocol, and from my conversations with Tommy and the team, the overall idea that I see here is that EnergyX, although the idea was great here, that if Energy Swap continues to grow here, if the overall protocol trend continues to grow, the really great thing here is that Energy Swap could be what EnergyX was meant to be. This vision that they've had since as far back as 2018, since around when the protocol was starting to launch. EnergyX had this overall idea of becoming the central hub. They knew that decentralized exchanges were going to be a big use case, but being able to provide a central hub for all global assets, commodities, stocks, all types of assets, Forex markets, trading in between other different types of currencies, not just US dollar stable coins, What happens when you can build a central hub for all assets through a global automated market maker or decentralized exchange, where no one can stop you from trading? You not only are going to pay a lot lower fees, but you're going to have a lot more financial freedom. And it's going to open up financial access to people all across the globe when you can have a crypto wallet in this case and simply plug into EnergySwap. This is the vision of what Tommy and the team have been building at Energy. And again, it's why I keep coming back to the protocol, making sure that the user experience works for the end user, not just some large players in the DeFi space, but everyday people, giving them the proper experience when it comes to network fees, when it comes to settlement time, assets that you can expose yourself to, truly opening up new opportunities that just weren't possible on Ethereum and Binance Smart Chain. So I have to say here, guys, I'm very excited about what's coming for the Energy Protocol, and there's some really exciting things coming up here very soon. As of right now, we've got two major headline things coming up for the Energy Protocol that I think are important to keep on your radar, and you should be able to follow through the Medium account for Energy, as well as their social channels. The first one here is the Ethereum Energy Bridge, or the Energy Ethereum Bridge. And this is allowing users in this case to migrate assets over from the Ethereum blockchain over onto the Energy Protocol in a trustless way, right? So this is again a way where you can get into the Energy Protocol and be able to trade your energy, in this case, your Ethereum or other types of ERC20 assets on the Energy Protocol. So we can start bolstering more liquidity on the Energy Swap protocol. And outside of this as well is Energy Swap farming. Now, I'm not really a major person when it comes to farming. I've been more on the typical kind of stablecoin farming route, but there's a lot of people out there who are really interested in farming overall, right? So outside of just the standard kind of lending protocols like Celsius, BlockFi, or decentralized protocols like Compound or Aave, Energy Swap farming is going to allow users to actually start to yield farming, gaining different types of yield farming opportunities within the energy ecosystem. So these are some of the major improvements that they're making to the overall Energy Swap as well as Energy DeFi ecosystem. And I'm really excited to see them continue to progress. But if you guys are interested today, if you're tired of high network fees, and for you as a user, if paying anywhere from $5 to $40 is a big deal, as it is for probably 95 to 98% of users in the crypto space, I want to go ahead and advise you guys to give Energy Swap a try. Just give it a try. And the really great thing about it is you can get started today. In this case, you can deposit some energy into your MetaMask wallet and get started trying it out today. And again, if you reach out through the energy community, there's a lot of ways to earn fractions or small amounts of energy through the community participation and their Discord. That's a great place to start if you're really just wanting to get your feet wet and you're not sure about going out and buying energy in this case, guys. It's completely understandable. Reach out to their community, give it a shot. They're very community oriented and they're there to help you guys. So that's it for today's review. I hope you guys enjoyed this review, this in-depth talk about the Energy Swap protocol. And if you guys liked it, please consider dropping a like and checking out the links down below in the description so you guys can get your hands on the Energy Swap protocol today. Thanks so much, guys, for watching today's video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care, everyone.